made me have to step up who I was as a person. So I was sitting here getting myself prepared because this weekend I'm gonna go hang out with my partner, my love, and we're doing kind of we didn't really talk about this being that, but that's what it feels like. We are doing a pre-celebration of our 6th-year anniversary this weekend. So I'm getting prepared to go and meet up with her. I'm so excited. I sit and I think about the person that I am now versus the person that I was before. I was not this person before. I've always been on this road to always becoming what it is that I need to be for the next leg of the journey. But I had no clue as to where it was that I was ultimately going. And it just saw fit like 6 years ago for her to be placed in my life, and in the way that it happened, that whole friends thing, and how to be of help, how to be of service in that particular level. And I don't know, it was something that just magically happened in a way that it made me have to step up who I was as a person. A lot of my life I've been saying that, I wanted to have a certain type of mate, and sometimes I can be deep, but then a lot of times too in past relationships, some of that stuff you kind of, hold in because you don't know how much people can handle. A lot of relationships tend to be very superficial, and when you go deep, it can be looked upon a certain way. And so I never knew what the depth of a real relationship was, to be able to hold down a relationship while you're trying to grow. It's very difficult. It really is very difficult. But I have been blessed with such an amazing person in my life to hold my hand during every leg of the journey, and give me comfort, even help me to figure out me, which was she paid more attention than I did, in the beginning. And so being her, knowing what to look for, knowing what to do, because she too had to go through this very experience herself on her own terms and in her own way, But this has been such an amazing journey, because there's been such elevation, such evolution, such change. I've done nothing but change since the day that she and I literally got together. I've been transforming, and it's funny to hear her tell me what it looks like from her perspective, and for it to be in such a beautiful way that you're so proud of yourself for being able to change, and especially in front of someone, so that also lets you know what kind of love is there. And so it's just amazing. It's just amazing. We started out this thing of stating that we were going to tell each other everything. We wanted to do things differently than we've ever done in any other relationship, because we know as individuals, we're all about that whole spiritual growth, that whole, moving into purpose on every level, of the game. And so to have someone, be in that same space is amazing. I'm gonna use amazing a lot. I really am. But being able to have her just in this space with me, sharing, the road, it has been just a tremendous help. You know, it's one thing to have someone in your life, you know, when you're going through stuff, but someone who can help you, you know, who can really help you through whatever it is that you're going through. Because not only, you know, maybe they haven't gone through everything in the way that you've gone through it, but they understand why you're going through it and they help you go through it, you know. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be in. I haven't been this person the entire time, and there was a lot of growth that I had to do. And you could have asked me a year or two before, you know, even, you know, meeting her. I wouldn't have said that. You know, I would have thought that, yeah, I was a grown person. But as my mother says, you know, or said, keep on living. And so, you know, I do. And I have learned to see things from a whole other perspective. It's something that I do for other people, and to have that done for me in such a way that allows me to say, okay, I get it. I got it. I got that. I got that. It's been some spaces of getting some things, but having it in my repertoire, having to learn how to be habitual in the knowing of what it is that you've learned. You know, repetition, you know, trying to do the same thing over and over, in a sense that, you know, it becomes habit. You know, not only just that too, because the person that you're in relationship with, you want them to be happy. You know, you want them to be happy with you. You know, you want them to be able to say, that's my person, you know, and I love them. And so there's a lot of growth on my part in with you know, regards to, you know, being in this type of relationship where you have the other person is just growing by leaps and bounds themselves, but in a whole other way that you are, you know. But it complements one another. It complements one another. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But our 6th anniversary is on the 11th. But this weekend we're going to celebrate. I haven't seen her in a while, and my heart is like, I'm ready to see her. I'm ready to see her. Been past ready to see her, but it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. I was deciding if I wanted to kind of go into a little bit more. I've got some Third Eye Awakening tea here. It's only a little bit in here because I gave my son some, and I've had some in my cup here. And I love tea. This is good. It's delicious. The one thing that has really been hard for me is really seeing things differently. I mean, almost opposite to the way that I was thinking. I had to be able to see things, you know, from another person's perspective, and understand why it wasn't okay to, you know, to do certain things. And not because they were, you know, the intention was, you know, wrong, but because of how things, you know, could possibly go into a whole other direction, you know, or can give mixed signals, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So being very conscious about, you know, how you handle things, you know. And so that was a great lesson for me. It was a great lesson for me. But I must admit that in some of the cases I didn't get it right away. And so when you don't get things right away, sometimes you end up doing things, you know, to the relationship. So it's imperative that you really, get things. You really pay attention to things. So you want to make sure that, your person knows that they are loved. If you are all right, they're all right, everybody's all right. And, I wish I could say that I never did that before. I did, but not on this level. Like, that had nothing to do with this. Like, I don't know if I could even explain that. Being so in tune, in a space where when the other person is not okay with something, and it's not because they said anything. You could just feel their energy, and that, whatever that wasn't all right, so let's fix that. I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to communicate in a relationship, and not sweep things under the rug, or not, I'm okay with everything, and knowing that you're not. When we, got together, we said that we were going to do things differently. And so everything that we do is totally different from anything else I've ever done. And so it makes it refreshing. It makes it, even more of, heartfelt love. There's times when, the way that I was, in this particular relationship, I wouldn't call it bad, I wouldn't call it good, I wouldn't call it anything. It just was what it was, at that time. And myself, I was just, I didn't know. I didn't know. I hadn't been around like real relationships, so I didn't know how they were supposed to really work. And so I have to just admit that, my partner, my love, has really been really patient, because that ain't always easy. Shoot, I was not always easy for my own self, and you could feel that. So, having that person that loves you enough, that, wants to show you something that's different, to help you also elevate, to help you be in a different space, and I know part of it probably is because she knows that I too want that, but for whatever reason have denied myself access to it at that particular time. But when you get something, you get it, and then it's time to move forward. My thing now is to make sure that I'm getting things a little bit faster, so that again, when you don't get things in the relationship, you'll begin to damage it in some way, shape, or form. So it's very important to really pay attention, and that's what she's taught me, to really pay attention, yeah, to really pay attention. She is phenomenal in every way imaginable. She is phenomenal. I'm glad to be going into the 6th year with her, and I'm really excited about, where we'll go next, what will happen. And I was thinking a little bit earlier too, that how it's been 6 years, and we've kind of, kept this thing in this particular space. And it's because we both were learning and growing and doing some changing and solidifying who it is that we are as people. Because sometimes you can get into a space, and if you're not, trying to go for the same things, in life, which is bettering yourself and trying to be on purpose, be intentional with the things that you do, and be intentional with your love and things of that nature. And so she has granted me access to all of who it is that she is, and it is such an amazing person. If they say sugar releases dopamine, she's my dopamine. She's dope, and she has always been that way.